Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime series where we add value to people's lives, happening every Wednesday, Thursday on ebizradio.com. You can catch the Lunchtime series on all major podcast channels. And to help us grow this channel and add more value to people's lives, please follow, like, and share today's conversation. In our marketing and leadership segment today, we have, as per usual, marketing and communications expert and co-host Craig Pagely. How you doing, Craig?
Hello, Kevin. Yeah, good. Always good to be chatting. I do look forward to our shows, and bloody hell, they really are flying by.
They are. I can't believe that we're almost in October. When this goes out, it would be October, right?
That's correct. Yes. So yeah, officially from Saturday, we're in the last quarter of this year of 2022. Can you believe it?
Yes, I mean, to a large degree, it's been exciting, but to a large degree, it's been quite the adaptation that people have had to make, and I think it's good. I think just creating a bit of space for people to be innovative, and to really come up with new solutions. I think it's been a difficult one, but I think it's really pushed that button for a lot of people. But I mean, Craig, last week in our inspiring discussion last week, we had expanded on the topic of human-centered leadership. What can you share with our listeners as a key takeaway from last week's conversation?
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. So as you mentioned, we did expand on the topic of human-centered leadership, but that particular conversation will look specifically at the way that entrepreneurs can display human-centric leadership. And I reference a great article that was published on Forbes.com and was written by the Forbes Coaches Expert Panel. The article was titled 14 Ways Entrepreneurs Can Display Human-Centric Leadership. And the key takeout from this article and our discussion open with the following quote, Kevin. Employees need four things to succeed: trust, stability, hope, and compassion. And that keeping team members as healthy and happy and productive as possible means embracing a more human-centric leadership model that values employers more than profits. And the challenge, though, here is that entrepreneurs are very much focused on guiding their businesses to success and not necessarily skilled on how to be these effective human-centered leaders. But thanks to the insights shared by the Forbes Coaches Council or expert panel, they too can immerse themselves in the incredibly important style of leadership, Kevin. So while the article covered 14 key points, I really just want to reflect on about 5 or 6 that stood out for both you and I in the conversation last week. So point 1 was start by loving yourself unconditionally. And my point there is that nobody can drive, promote, or be part of a human-centric role or organization if they can't express themselves or demonstrate their own self-worth, self-belief, and self-compassion and care. Point 2 is begin with self-reflection. And what I appreciate about this point is that it demonstrates mindfulness and when demonstrating mindfulness and self-awareness, you automatically create this cause effect of trust, authenticity, and curiosity. Point 3 is shift to a potential focused development process. What's important here, Kevin, is the reference to the how. How do employees actually see the organization, and how do they find how they fit into their jobs, and how does the organization actually enable them on their career path and life journey? Something that really became a center point for self-reflection coming out of the COVID pandemic. And you and I, before we even started the conversation, that's exactly what we were talking about. Point 5 here is to get team buy-in and build trust. So getting the right connections in place will ensure that the team gel and excel. Once they've bought in, obviously the potential is limitless. Point 5, key point, communicate transparently and honestly. It's about increasing the frequency of communication, not just keeping it for the monthly updates and birthday wishes, but really also about communicating through those tough messages as well, Kevin. And finally, a point on a topic that really cannot be overemphasized enough, and one that we've had some good conversation around is that of purpose, and which we all know is covered in detail by Simon Sinek's Golden Circle model. So point 9 in the article advises entrepreneurs to go back to their sense of purpose. This point reminds us that the why is not about making money. That is a result of any successful business. It tells us that the why is actually a purpose a cause, or a belief. And it's the very reason your organization exists, your motivation and belief in what led you to start the business in the first place. And to close on a quote from this point, Kevin, asking these questions will help you get connected to the things that you want to create within your business beyond profit. To have that impact, you need to be able to inspire your people to come along with you. And those are the key takeaway points from last week.
Craig, thank you. Guys, if you haven't gone and checked this out, or you haven't heard the show, I would really recommend you going to check it out on the Lunchtime series on YouTube. It's the heading for it would be the top 14 successful entrepreneurs need to do. It really is one of the best conversations we've had all year, and I think it speaks to business and leadership and self, right? It's a fantastic conversation. But Craig, so what are we heading to down the road with today? And like, where are we going today?
Yes, Kevin, I came across a really interesting article that builds on two of the topics we've covered in the last 4 weeks, actually. The first one being direct-to-consumer sales, D2C, and the second one being e-marketplaces. And really, this entire conversation is about subscription business models, which are a great build on the e-marketplace. So what I want to do is I just want to start by looking at the definition of what a subscription business model is. As usual, a couple of definitions, and then dive into the two articles that I found. So referencing blog HubSpot.com, we note the following. Subscription models are used in nearly every industry. Growing companies like Netflix, Dollar Shave Club, and Microsoft have been using subscription-based revenue models for years with a lot of success. The subscription-based model is a recurring revenue model in which customers pay a weekly, monthly, or annual fee in exchange for products and services, and customers can renew their subscription after a certain period of time. And this model allows companies to leverage the customer relationship to create that steady stream of income. Moving on to investopedia.com, another really, really good site for definitions. Subscription business models are based on the idea of selling a product or a service to receive monthly or yearly recurring subscriptions. They focus on customer retention over customer acquisition, an important point. In essence, subscription business models focus on the way revenue is made so that a single customer pays multiple payments for a prolonged period or access to a good service instead of a large upfront cost on a once-off time price. So now the economy is trending towards more of these subscription-based models instead of the likes of ownerships of car, software, entertainment, and shopping. And you've obviously picked up on that, Kevin. And the importance about this, in fact, the most important point in this conversation is that it actually increases the lifetime value of the customer. And then lastly, on the definitions, just looking at good old wikipedia.com, we note that the subscription business model is a business model in which a customer must pay a recurring price at a regular interval for access to a product or service. And the model was pioneered by publishers of books and periodicals in the 17th century and is now used by many businesses and websites.
Great, but I mean, one of the things, I mean, for me, it leads right to the next question that we have here is, I mean, how exactly does subscription models work? Because I think until you really know your market, until you really know what you're really speaking to, et cetera, and who that person is that you actually would literally type in their credit card details, you've really got to know it to that degree for something like this to work, right?
Absolutely, Kevin. Yeah. Blog HubSpot.com. HubSpot is a fantastic source of great content. It really is, Kevin. So blog HubSpot.com provides a few simple points to define this. So point one, as we've just learned in the subscription model, customers are charged on a recurring basis for that product or service. So you then get the opportunity to choose how long and how often you actually want to receive any of the offers. So think of a subscription as a contract between you and the customer, where the customer agrees to pay for a product or service for a period of time, and then the business must fulfill that order to ensure the offer is always available for as long as the customer completes their recurring payment contract. So when the contract's up, the customer has the option to renew or cancel the subscription. And a great example of this, and interesting, this example plugs straight back into the point of periodicals and publishers of books, where your local newspaper, Kevin, while you can buy a newspaper individually, many folk who actually read the newspapers have subscriptions, and that way you get the newspaper delivered to your front door at a fixed rate rather than having to go out to the store to purchase one. But another really important point here is that subscription renewals are actually the mainstay of the subscription box business model. So it's important that these companies keep getting the customers to renew, because without that renewal, the framework of the business won't exist. So companies need to see their customers renewing their subscriptions as often as possible, and customers need to ensure that they receive their products on a regular basis. So some services have a commitment period offering lower price for longer subscriptions. However, others work on that month-to-month basis where a customer can renew it at any particular point in time. But importantly, compared to the e-commerce store, Kevin, the company doesn't have to spend as much on remarketing to the subscriber model, which obviously brings certain benefits from a cost-saving point of view. But there's a really great term that states that the concept of subscription boxes is around product kitting. Now, I quite enjoyed that phrase, where you package several items together into one purchase, and this allows you to streamline your order management process by creating these ready-to-ship product sets. Some stats here, which we really like to add stats in, is important point to note is that the average profit margin of a subscription business or subscription box business, Kevin, is 40 to 60% higher. The basis of this being due to those recurring payments and the cheaper cost to serve. But from the above, it's obvious to state that the subscription-based revenue model definitely benefits both the company and the customer. And as a customer, you have the convenience of automatically repurchasing a product or service or turning it off. But as a business, you retain the customers for future sales rather than needing to re-engage with them on a more regular and frequent basis, and obviously secure monthly recurring revenue, which is a major advantage to any business, particularly as we're sitting in this rather economically tough market at the moment.
Great, but what is that term that you just product kitting?
Yes, product kitting.
So what I'm as you talking, I'm literally collating information in my head, kind of going, okay, cool. I am a content creator. I have programs. I have a lot of access to a lot of information. And that's really, because at 40 to 60% increase in profit, that's a hell of a lot of money, right?
Yes.
When you kind of, if you've got a great marketing strategy, well, if you've kitted together your products well enough to really sort of supply a whole bunch of good information around this, you've given some really great resources. You put together a proper tutorial, perhaps through this, and you're kitting together a good product offering. I can see why that would be a fantastic sort of add-on to your business. And as you and I do this, the more we talk, the more I'm learning and the more I'm changing my business.
Fantastic.
I'm going to be product kitting for that's my 2023 is going to be product kitting for Leadership by Design.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I love it.
No, that's great to hear. These are good conversations, and what is fantastic for me is that I do see you leaning in to take this content and are applying it in your business, Kevin.
Absolutely, I am. Craig, so do people actually still subscribe to business model or to this business model, considering that some of the economic challenges that we are facing? Because I look at my subscriptions and through iTunes or whatever, it's so easy to kind of go, okay, subscribe. But I've got to the point where I know that if I'm not aware of what I'm subscribing to, eventually you just have 200 and 300 and 500 Rand coming off your account.
Correct.
And you're like, oh my God, that's like, it's 1,000 Rand that you haven't even looked at in this entire month. So I mean, so there's that challenge. That so is it adding enough value for me to pay attention to it on a regular basis, and does it still work? Do these things work? Does it really actually make a difference? Can it?
Kevin, it's a great question. It really, really is, and I'm smiling as you were, asking the question, because I came across this incredible article on chargeb.com, which is a company that actually provides subscription management systems. Their entire purpose of existence is to enable the subscription box model to exist, and they've got fantastic tech solutions to do this, from inventory controls to billings and things like that. But what they state is, yes, people do actually still subscribe.
Wow.
And the article notes, that the market, take note of this, is expected to see an annual compound growth rate of 18.3% between 2022 and 2027, Kevin, already having reached a total value of $33.7 billion in 2021.
Yeah. So that's a lot of.
So
that's huge.
And it's also important to note that they're very different kinds of subscription-based business models, Kevin. And the likes of Netflix and Disney Plus are absolutely thriving, but on the back of a very different product offering, namely that of streamed digital content or entertainment. And I think when you spoke about relevance to your business, it would possibly be more in line with this particular space, because you'd be a content enabler in your subscription box model.
Well, I mean, to get a bit of context, because as in part of what I'm doing now is creating a sort of a wonderful program, for example, for getting leaders into a coaching position, right? But with that comes a lot of learning, a lot of content, a lot of resources, and putting together a kit for people to kind of just go and do it in their own time, in their own space, and it becomes a subscription model that for the next 6 months or for the next 12 months you would get really great resources and conversation that support your leadership process, or how your coaching process in a leadership style, or in your leadership style, for example. So, I mean, how you box it, I think that it's very possible, and it's just a case of figuring out how to do it and boxing it, correctly for the right audience.
Yeah, packaging, exactly that, Kevin. Packaging your content in a way that it's amenable to the right audience, but not necessarily limiting other potential audience segments from accessing it as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So, Craig, what are some of the benefits of a subscription box model? Because at 40 to 60%, on your bottom line, it makes a substantial difference.
It absolutely does. Yeah.
Tell us how to do this.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So there are many different articles, obviously presenting a number of similar benefits, but these are really well defined in that same article that I came across on chargeb.com, which was actually titled "The Ultimate Guide to Subscription Box Business Models." And the article notes the following 6 benefits of using the subscription box model, Kevin, which include the ability to, number 1, introduce new products to your audience. So a subscription box can be an effective way of introducing new products to the subscriber audience, packaging the item in question with your more popular products. And for your business, whilst you're offering a course, there may be a tag on as an introduction to another course, which could actually be a segue from one course to the next to complete a much bigger proposition. Point 2 is to attract more customers with a more affordable price point. So if the people you market to want your e-commerce products, then bundling them together at a lower price is a great way to get them coming back for more. And again, for your business, instead of course 1, take course 1 and 2, and it's slightly cheaper over the subscription period. Yeah. Point 3, create a strong customer relationship. So due to the recurring nature of these subscriptions, you can definitely offer a variety of products at a more affordable price based on the key data and understanding of the utilization and take up of the products as well. Point 4 is lower your cost per acquisition. So repeat business from the same base requires a hell of a lot less marketing effort and spend, which inevitably helps reduce the cost of acquisition, Kevin. Point 5 is predict revenue more accurately. So by understanding both the number of subscribers that you currently have and your average churn rate, you're definitely able to be much more accurate in predicting how much money will be, how much revenue will be generated over a particular period of time. And then the last benefit that the article talks about is increased customer convenience. So by offering these subscription boxes through the e-commerce store, it increases the customer convenience, which in turn improves your customer experience, and people can have the product they want at the price they enjoy, and they don't have to remember to make those purchases manually.
Craig, but again, I'm just thinking about the differentiator. We've spoken so many times about brands doing, how are you doing what you're doing differently to what everyone else is doing, and how does it differentiate? And I think this speaks to a potential differentiator to any brand out there.
Absolutely.
And I spoke to someone as a brand marketer, and she works at an international levels with brand as well, and taking people into Africa basically, and she was speaking about how brands need to be aware of expansion at this point in time and not contracting because of the world economy, and people really need to set themselves up for what that sort of expansion mindset looks like. And I think, this could potentially be one of those differentiators. So it's like, how do you create this model where people can subscribe to, and it doesn't have to be expensive, but that consistency and that you're forever in someone's sort of frame of reference,
Yes.
or someone's
Yes.
phone, or someone's email, or someone's WhatsApp, or whatever that subscription model is. I think it makes a huge difference to the brand itself and brand growth.
And Kevin, just to add on to that again, it's important to understand that there's certain businesses that won't really succeed in this particular space.
Yeah.
Because you really do need to be in a position to have the ability to collectively present a product or service offering. So, made out of varying constituent pieces, or different modules in your learnership over a period of time lead you to a degree or something like that. The fashion industry is very much quite a popular enabler in this space, where you can have an entire seasonal wardrobe selected. Okay.
Yeah.
And each week or each month there's a drop as part of that bill to the seasonality change, and you're subscribing to that, and then they're bringing in the pairing of recommended other items based on the likes that you've given and the conversation that you've had with the brand, etc. So they're definitely brands that have much greater affinity to this being success to others who really are quite singular in their product offering and wouldn't necessarily work on a subscription model.
Yeah. Craig, so I mean, as we close the show today, what can you share with the listeners as the key takeaways from our conversation? Because I think this is fascinating stuff.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. For the takeaways today, I want to reference another article that I came across on HubSpot.com. This one was titled "What a Subscription Business Model? What is a subscription business model, and how does it work?" And it was written by Clint Fontanella and updated as recently as 24 June 2022. And the article notes the following benefits of a subscription business model, Kevin. So the first one here is subscription models are convenient for customers. We know people are busy. If they have access to a product they like and it can be delivered when they need it with little or no efforts on their part, they'll sign up for it. And again, as I talk about the likes of the retail sector, where you don't actually have to now go into the big box stores and select your items, they're actually being paired for you and dropped at your doorfront. Subscriptions save people from having to research new products and shop for them in the stores, creating a much more seamless customer experience. And as you know, that's one of the stickinesses for keeping customers engaged, is that seamless experience. The second point is customers can discover new products. So not only do people save money from not having to travel to the store, yes, but they also get to try new items that they may not have purchased on their own, because these boxes are bringing them multiple product offering. packaged in a single drop. Businesses, point 3, can accurately predict revenue. We did touch on that earlier on. So subscription models really make it much easier to predict how much revenue your business will receive each month. And since your customers are in that repeated continuum of payment, you know when they're going to make a payment and how much it'll be for. And you can start factoring the budgeting across your business strategy from that clear understanding. It'll help you actually have a much more accurate representation of your company's resources as well, Kevin. The fourth point here is subscription can attract more customers, and this is what you're inevitably hoping for, with your business. Sometimes the price tag on a product or service can be cost prohibitive for a consumer, but charging weekly, monthly, or annually actually allows you to set a price at a more affordable point, and it lets consumers budget into their monthly bills. And again, as you say, just to ensure you've got relevance in the offering, so that you don't get to a point like you have where you're sitting there looking at the various subscriptions that you have and go, well, hell, have I actually received value for these? I'm actually going to start canceling a few.
Yeah.
Point 5 here is subscriptions decrease customer acquisition costs. So rather than engaging potential customers who you don't know or who don't trust your brand, subscription business models allow you to do business with the people who you already do know. And that cuts down, as I mentioned earlier, on marketing costs, but it also allows you to focus a lot more on customer referrals. And this is one of those, the direct-to-consumer model, the e-marketplace and the likes of subscription boxes is very much around promotional advertising and getting that word-of-mouth marketing and rewarding for good lead generation as well. And then, Kevin, the last benefit of the subscription business model, which, again, according to the article, is that businesses build stronger relationships with their customers. And a key benefit of working with the same customer is that you develop that deeper, stronger relationship over a period of time. And when your service team is always there providing the excellent customer support, customers learn to trust your employees a lot more, and they become much more customized to working with your brand. And that really plays an important role when customers have to decide whether or not they actually will renew the subscription at the end of that period. And those are the key takeaway points for today, Kevin.
Fantastic, Craig. Thank you so much. Guys, if you want to go check it out, in the last couple of weeks, we have been sort of leading on, and there's quite a few topics, direct to consumer, also the sound branding that we've been speaking about, the benefits to marketing segmentation, and today, whether you should have a subscription model built into your business or not. So go and check it out on the Lunchtime series, guys. There's loads of really, really useful content. Craig, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for bringing this fantastic option to my business.
Brilliant.
And have a fantastic week forward. I'll chat to you soon.
Absolutely. Look forward to that. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Craig. Cheers. Bye.
Sure.